Negative 30 days. Some companies get paid before they ever pay a bill. Your customers hand over cash while the supplier still waits 40 days. Benjamin Graham hunted for that gap. Wall Street still ignores it. Warren Buffett calls a business like that a fortress. It has a plain name, the cash conversion cycle. Just 3 numbers reveal whether a firm funds itself or goes bankrupt. The cycle that turns customers into your interest-free lender. Get it wrong and rising sales can bankrupt you within 1 year. Get it right and $1 of growth need not cost you a cent. Today you learn to compute it in 2 minutes flat. Picture the whole life of one $1 bill inside a store. First, that dollar buys inventory that sits idle on a shelf. Days pass 20 or 30 while your money stays trapped. Then a customer buys but pays you 30 days later. Meanwhile, your own supplier's bill sits unpaid for 45 days. The cash conversion cycle measures that round trip in days. It counts the days your cash is trapped, a figure Wall Street skips. The number that changed how Buffett judged a retailer. A short cycle sends cash back to work in 10 days. A long cycle leaves cash stranded and aging for 90 days. Cash trapped in dead inventory earns you exactly 0%. Every extra day in that cycle is $1 you cannot use. Miss it and you may praise a firm 90 days from broke. The formula: days inventory plus days receivable minus days payable. Think of the 100 days between spending and getting paid back. Number 1 is days inventory, how long goods sit unsold. Compute it. Inventory divided by cost of goods times 365. Fewer days here means shelves clear fast and cash returns. Days inventory falls when a brand sells 2x faster than rivals. Number 2 is days receivable, how long customers take to pay. Compute it. Receivables divided by revenue times 365. Days receivable rises the moment you chase 60-day invoices. Below 40 days is healthy. Slow payers can leave you broke. Number 3 is days payable, how long you take to pay. Compute it. Payables divided by cost of goods times 365. Days payable climbs when a giant makes suppliers wait 90 days. Here longer helps. You hold cash while suppliers wait 45 days. One of the 3 inputs that hides a slow slide into insolvency. Add the first 2, then subtract the third number. A grocer's cycle might be 5 days, a jeweler's 300. The result is the days your cash sits locked away. Below 0, something quietly magical happens to the business. A negative cycle means customers fund you before you spend $1. You collect their cash first, then pay your suppliers 40 days later. The gap that lets Amazon spend your money for 3 months. That free float is a loan you never repay. A margin of safety, the float that funded Dell's entire rise for free. Just-in-time inventory can push the whole cycle below 0. A phone giant holds your cash 60 days before paying for chips. Ignore it, and a firm growing 30% can still go bankrupt. Graham prized this cushion. It holds firm when markets crash. Buffett built Berkshire on businesses that fund their own growth. Watch it work on Costco Wholesale, a retailer you know. Costco sells its inventory in roughly 30 brisk days. At the register, members pay instantly in cash or card, so days receivable are almost nothing, near 4 days, but Costco pays its suppliers only after about 40 days. Do the math: 30 plus 4 minus 40. The cycle lands near negative 6 days below 0. The difference that made Costco's suppliers fund its shelves. Members' cash arrives 40 days before the bill comes due. Scale that across 800 warehouses and the float turns enormous. Suppliers effectively lend Costco billions, interest-free every single day. That is how 90 million members quietly bankroll the shelves. The register rings long before the supplier's invoice arrives, so growth barely touches its working capital at all. One of the balance sheet lines that secretly bankrolls its growth. That is a moat you can measure in 2 minutes. You never need the company's own glossy investor slides. Open the 10K to the balance sheet page, find just 3 lines: inventory, receivables, and payables. Grab revenue and cost of goods from the income statement. 2 divisions, 1 subtraction, and you finish in 2 minutes. This tells you who funds whom in under 120 seconds. No spreadsheet, no jargon, just 5 figures off 2 pages. The math a 12-year-old could finish before the bell rings. The metric that Wall Street reports but never explains. Do it yourself, and the balance sheet stops hiding secrets. Round the figures. Precision to the exact day rarely matters. This is the intrinsic value work most investors skip. Everything here comes from the investing classics linked below. Listen to them free with the Audible trial in the description. Now flip it. This same number lied for 3 straight years. Meet a home goods chain growing revenue 20% a year. Its income statement looked glorious, profits up every quarter, its share price rose 40% as the cycle secretly doubled. Analysts cheered 25% growth and never checked the days. The trap that turns record profits into a bankrupt collapse. 3 years earlier, its cycle sat near 40 tidy days. Then inventory piled up faster than the shelves could clear. Days inventory stretched from 45 to 70 long days. Customers courted with easy terms paid slower and slower. Days receivable crept from 30 up toward 55. The lag that cost the chain everything and left it broke. Its total cycle ballooned from 40 days to 95. Each of those 55 extra days trapped cash, bleeding it toward broke. The pattern that turned rising revenue into a margin call. Reported profit rose 20%, but its cash went to zero. By year 4, it owed 200 days of cash it never had. The auditors signed off. The cash cycle screamed 95 days. Revenue is only a story. Cash is the actual receipt. Its warehouses swelled with 70 days of unsold dead stock. Discounts to clear 70 days of stock erased its 20% margin. Vendors it stiffed for 120 days finally walked away. To fund the gap, it borrowed millions, sinking deeper underwater. A 12% interest bill cost them the entire margin, then some. A stretch in this number that wiped out its supplier chain. Within 6 months, suppliers walked and the shelves went bare. One bad quarter, and the illusion collapsed into insolvency. The record profits were real. The $0 cash balance killed it. Investors who read only earnings lost their money in the crash. The cash cycle had warned them 2 full years earlier. So here is the rule that guards you from fake growth. A cycle lengthening past 60 days quietly warns you will go broke. It appears 2 years before earnings admit anything wrong. The warning that flashed before the company ran out of cash. Track the cycle across 3 to 5 years, never just one. A steady or shrinking cycle means a business funds itself. A cycle creeping up 10 days a year means slowly going broke. One rising line on the balance sheet undid 5 years of profit, the signal that appears years before the earnings finally break. A ratio that saved Buffett-style investors from a wipeout. The cushion that saved cash while rivals went bankrupt. In the 2008 crash, negative cycle firms barely flinched. Read 5 years of the cycle before you trust 1 year of profit. A moat that funds itself compounds, a leaky one goes broke. Use it as your first filter before any PE or book value. Compute the cycle first. If it lengthens, dig deeper, ask why the days rose, weak demand or terms that broke a rival. Compare the cycle to close rivals in the very same trade. A moat holds a cycle 20 days shorter than its peers. Pull 3 years of balance sheets and line the cycles up. If the number climbs 2 years running, treat it as a red flag. Cross-check it against inventory piling on the balance sheet. The number is public, free, and only 2 minutes away. The best moats push the cycle towards zero or below. A rising cycle plus rising debt is how firms go broke. A number that separates a real moat from a costly mirage. The trio that decides in 3 numbers whether a firm survives. Watch the 5-year trend, not one lucky single year. Cash flow, not reported profit, is what pays the bills. Buffett trusts the cash cycle. Earnings can be dressed up. This is how Munger separates a fortress from a facade. Remember Graham's method as one clean line. Days inventory plus days receivable minus days payable. Below zero, customers fund you. Far above, you fund the losses. Shrinking is strength. Lengthening bleeds you until you go bankrupt. 2 minutes, 3 lines, and a moat reveals itself. 3 lines, 1 subtraction, and countless avoided losses. Run this before every buy, and fake growth loses its mask. Subscribe, and each day brings one more method the pros guard. Master these 3 numbers, and you read the truth cash tells. Next, the X-ray that catches fake earnings, matching profits to actual cash.